Good morning. This is call number 2021-03832. In the interest of Marley Davis, all parties and witnesses, please raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, ma'am. Please state your name and your relationship to the child.
My name is Janae Whitley, and I am Marley Davis' mother.
All right, and representing the state of Texas.
Andrea Eoff.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Jamal Jermaine Davis. Mr. Davis was personally served on January 18th, 2022 at 1 p.m. at 10716 Shermore Drive in Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish, Louisiana. He's not appeared to file an answer. Is that correct, Ms. Eoff? We'll proceed
That's correct,
by
Your
default.
answer.
We'll proceed by
Yes, Your
default.
Honor. Thank you. When you're ready, we'd like to call Miss Whitley, Your Honor.
Well, fine.
All right. Miss Whitley, will you please state your name for the record?
Janae Whitley.
And will you state the name and age of your child?
Marley Jamil Davis, and she's 6 years old.
And Miss Whitley, is it true that Mr. Davis signed an acknowledgement of paternity when Marley was born?
Yes, he was there. He signed the birth certificate at birth.
And is it true that Mr. Davis resided in the state of Texas with you and Marley?
Yes.
And you guys lived together in the state of Texas during that time, and he provided support for her in that way?
Yes.
All right. Based on that, would you feel it is accurate to say that Texas has jurisdiction over this matter and can issue an order in this case?
That's a legal conclusion.
Sorry, Your Honor. I will strike that. So, Miss Whitley, since Marley was born, how often was Mr. Davis involved in her life?
For the first year, he was active. A little bit under first year, he was active because he was solely her babysitter while I worked. After that year, nothing. He hasn't been involved. Only phone calls every now and then. He will call her, but he hasn't spoken to her now since August of last year.
So he hasn't spoken to her in nearly a year. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And has he made any attempt to visit her in the last 5 years?
Oh, no.
And has Mr. Davis made any attempt to co-parent with you, to share in decision-making or in her education or anything like that?
No.
And whenever Mr. Davis was around and spending time with her, did you ever have any instances where you felt like her safety was compromised in his care?
Yes.
Can you explain that for the court?
Yes. Mr. Davis is a very heavy drinker. When he was babysitting her, my shift, I used to work 3 to 11. When I got off one night, she was standing on the counter in the kitchen. I guess she knew how to get up, but she couldn't get down. But I can hear her screaming from outside of me opening the door on the counter, and he was passed out on the living room floor. It was times where he would get up, I guess from his drunken state, and he would urinate in the corners of my house. Open the dryer and urinate in the dryer. It's been quite a few instances. And then the last one that really just took the cake, he was kicking. He was drunk then, but he was kicking in my door in the apartment that we were living in. And that's what made me actually move. And I had to pay for those damages because he was kicking in my front door.
And based on Mr. Davis's history of alcohol abuse and his tendency to be violent, do you feel like it would be in Marley's best interest if he were to have limited supervised visitation with her?
Yes, I do, and I say that too, just not from the drinking. I also have messages where he wrote saying that he's going to kill me, and also that if he could not be with me, he didn't want to be a father to Marley. He couldn't be a father to Marley. So with that, I don't feel safe with that.
And has he ever threatened to kidnap her?
No, I never gave him a chance to. He's never asked to pick her up or anything. So no.
Okay. Is it not true that at one point in time he said that if he took her for a visit, he would not bring her back?
Yeah, he said that when he first, well, it wasn't when he first moved out there, because when he first moved out there, we didn't hear from him for like a year and a half. But then when he did say if she was to come out here, then he would not return her. Yes.
All right. So based on that, are you asking the court order you to be the sole managing consignor of your daughter with no geographic
Yes,
where you live?
Yes, ma'am. I would prefer, yes, ma'am.
And are you asking that the court order that Mr. Dave?
Miss Eoff, excuse me. The order says that they're appointed joint managing conservators.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I thought for sure that that said sole, but I can change it. All right. But Miss Marley, I can update that order, but is that what you're asking for the court?
Yes, please.
All right. And are you asking that the court grant visitation to Mr. Davis from 1 to 5 p.m. on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturdays to be supervised by you or someone that you choose, and to occur at the Houston Zoo at 6200 Herman Park Drive in Houston, Texas?
Yes.
All right. To your knowledge, what does Mr. Davis do for a living?
I have no idea.
Do you have any reason to believe that he makes more than minimum wage?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right, but it's true that right now we don't have any evidence that would support the idea that he makes more or less than minimum wage at this point in time. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And are you asking that the court order him to pay child support in the amount of $217 a month to begin June 1st, 2022?
Yes.
And how is your child covered for health insurance at this point in time?
She has Medicaid.
All right. And are you asking that the court order him to pay $57 a month in cash medical support?
Yes.
All right. And has Mr. Davis given you any money to help support your child in the last 4 years?
No.
Are you asking the court to order a retroactive child support judgment in the amount of $14,885 to be paid back at
Yes.
$125 a month beginning June 1st, 2022?
Yes.
All right. And Ms. Whitley, you've testified Mr. Davis in the past has been threatening and violent. Do you feel like you are at future risk of harm from him if he has your phone number or address?
He can have my phone number to contact Marley, but I do not want him to know where we live.
All right. And why is that?
Just from the past. I'm not sure of his abuse, if he's still abusing the alcohol. I'm not too sure. I just want to make sure that my daughter is safe.
All right. And do you feel like if he knows where you live that he might cause harm or harassment to you or your daughter?
Yes, I absolutely do.
All right. I will pass this witness, Your Honor.
All right, if we look at the possession and access, there is no restriction or no mention of where that is to take place.
All right. Something gone wrong whenever the document went to a PDF. I will have to get into that.
All right, you need to review these orders before we start on hearings, but I will approve the order as discussed.
Okay.